Welcome back to ThisBytesForYou. Today's video is on a little bit more serious of a note. Is your Mega Man not so mega? Is your really big sky now no man's sky? Is your Raider not rising anymore? Don't worry, my friends. With Pinked Up, we got you covered. So with Pinked Up, we'll take your little guy that just isn't standing the way it used to and bring it back up to level. Don't let sleeping dogs lie. Act today and get pinked up. So, while that was more of a funny intro, GCED is real. After a period of time, sometimes a week, a month, sometimes a year, your card's gonna start sagging. After a while, it's gonna sag so low that some of the traces might actually break, making your video card worthless. Your traces on your motherboard might actually break as well, or you might actually rip the plastic portion of the PCIe slot out, making the pins not actually make contact with the card anymore. So in this video, we're not going to be going over a 50-cent bottle of pills. Since you spent so much money on the video card, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna try 3 different solutions coming up right now. So to start things off, I originally bought this, the MHQJRH. Well, that's not the actual name. It's an MHQJRH, but that's how you pronounce it. I went to school for it, actually. But I used this for the review of the 3090 to show you how it held your card up and the benefits of it. But a few of you had issues because depending on what kind of case you had, if you had fans on the bottom of your case, this wouldn't work right unless you sat it along the side, and still it was kind of odd. Then to also go with the theme of the video, we have the upHere. I bought this as an alternative so that you wouldn't have to rely on anything being on the bottom, and if there was, it didn't matter. This would hold it up a different method. Then again, keeping with the theme, we have the DEEPCOOL. This gives you a bunch of RGB options, just like the upHere did. Still like the, you can hold the card up, but this needs to have a base on the bottom of the system, but not on the back, not as adjustable as the was. You have to put this along the side. But let me show you how all of these work. All right, so I brought you in like this so you can see I do have 3 little levels on top of the video card. They're not centered, as you can see here. Okay, so starting off with the MHQJRH, we're just going to go ahead and lay it here, raise it till it is perfectly level. All right, perfectly level. You can see 1, 2, 3 are all 100% in the center there. That is the easiest of the 3, but if you have fans down here, it's not going to work for you. Then you can see if we take it away, boop, the card just falls down. It's kind of sad. So let's move on to the DEEPCOOL. So starting off with the DEEPCOOL, I found the instructions incredibly horrible on how to assemble it, but after a little bit, I kind of figured it out. Not incredibly hard, but again, the instructions don't really guide you very well. So it's really cool because right in here, you can dump your PCIe cables, although the way I mounted it here, I put it around the side here. So in order for it to work inside of this guy, I just need to drop them so that they go under the video card. Now, it looks like it may not fit 3. The cool thing about this is it may not even reach, but because it's such a weird design, I could just kind of bend it as needed into place. And then on top of that, it is RGB, or even ARGB. I decided to go with the 3-pin connection so that it'll match what I have over here. I have a header right over here that connects to these fans. So what I'm going to do is just disconnect this guy, and then it has as a pass-through, it works as a pass-through. So I'm going to go ahead and just connect this through the to these fans, and then the pass-through into the motherboard, so that this and this can sync, and then now I'm gonna go ahead, fit this in. Now again, looks to be only good for dual cards, but you can still fit it in and it will look relatively nice. I will need to stretch it out a little, it seems. Now, it doesn't seem to work properly for a triple PCIe connection to hide all the cables. It does a nice job in hiding them. You might have to maybe slide it in between this connection over here and so that it blocks only two, but I'll have to play with that at a later date. Right now it's just to show you how to do it. Actually, it looks like I guessed pretty well on where that bracket would hold the card in place. So along the side here, you can see how this little bracket fits underneath the video card, lifting it into place. You can see the level up here. Now it's not 100% centered. Problem is, if I raise it one, then it's going to be off center even more. So it doesn't get 100% perfect, but it's still better than not having anything at all. Then going over here, we can see how the others look as well. Okay, now the camera may not be perfectly centered, but you can see that this is or perfectly balanced. Now turning it on. So now coming in Windows, we can see everything is in sync right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up Mystic Lighting. Okay, everything is tied up over here or tied together over here. Okay, now it's tied together. So everything is going to sync in 1 second. Let me apply it over here. Okay, so now everything is in sync. And if I wanted to change it, just having one color. All right, so now we're breathing red. Now, mind you, the EVGA 380 is not in sync because that uses its own software, but we're not worried about that just yet. I wanted to show you how the DEEPCOOL worked. You can't, unfortunately, get as granular with the control as you could with the GPU Sag Bracket, but it still looks nice and gives you an RGB flare. Everything is good. It's not perfectly centered, but it's better than without it. Now, because of the 3 and the fact that I can't fit this all the way in, it does stick a little bit outside of the case here. Now, mind you, there is some room here, but still this is going to hit the side panel. So one thing to take note of if you have a triple PCIe connection here, this may not work for you. So the upHere is a little bit different. It doesn't need to rely on the bottom of the case in case you have any fans or anything that might be right in the way. And then, nothing in the back or on the side here that needs to block the card or any which way. This is a little bit different. It's going to go screwed in right over here, and then it's going to hold the video card in place like that. Now, as you saw me put in, it does have 2 little rubber things right over here, little rubber pads, so that, the metal doesn't make contact with your video card. But let me show you how to do that real quick. So first off, I'm just gauging where it should be. So it should be on these 2 directly underneath where the video card goes. Now the bad part is the PCIe slot covers are gonna kind of fall out of the slot because of course I'm taking the screw out. Now they provide screws, but we'll still be able to utilize these screws so that way it doesn't look awkward. Now we can still make it work. It's just a bit of a pain in the butt. All right, so we're going to put this back up here. Now mind you, this is a lot easier with the case laying down, but I do this standing up because it's a lot easier to show you. So first problem I see is when I screw it in, it pushes this in so that it's exactly on the fan. So this is not a horrible thing because right over here, there's a little thing we can move. And that lets me see where I'm not going to hit a fan. Looks like right there. Okay, maybe right there. Now, let's see, when I push it some more, still nothing, still nothing. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and screw in the other PCIe slot cover. Okay, so now with that held in place, I'm gonna put that PCIe slot cover back, really tight fit. Okay, now using my arm and the pressure, I'm just putting everything so that it lines up perfectly on the levels. Mind you, letting go, it's gonna fall because I have to tighten it. But now I can just go, make sure it's not on the fans, and tighten it like I like, and then tighten this right here. And if I wanted it more, which I do, just adjust it till it's perfect. Maybe a set of needle nose pliers to get that perfect just the way you want it. And then now, just like with the DEEPCOOL, we have the ARGB connections here and the pass-through. So just like we did before, connect the 3-pin to these fans. And then this 3-pin into the motherboard. And turn her on. Might take a minute for this to turn on. And while that's loading up, there we go. Okay, so now we can see how over here this lights up, matching everything over here. Let me go ahead and turn down the lighting on the camera so you can see that a little bit better. And now matching, I'm gonna go ahead and move it to rainbow. Look at that, the way it matches. Let's see. Uh-oh. So it's actually blocking these fans. So one sec, let me adjust it. So the other way to make this work is remove this, taking this completely out, take the backing out, put the backing back in over here. And then put this over here. Now we're screwing in this piece in front. It's not designed to do that. Again, easier laying down. So now put it just wherever you'd like it to go. Make sure the height is the way you want it to be. Okay, so now we can turn it back on, and the fans are spinning perfectly. All right, and then loading up Mystic Lighting. These are going to load up as well. There we go. So looks beautiful. I kind of like this, mind you. I have to play around with the wires to hide everything. And now, as you can see, the fans are spinning perfectly fine. And you can see the card is perfectly level. You should be able to see that. But the little bubble is right here. Mind you, it could be a little bit more to the right, as well as here and here, but it's still in the center, so it's much better than it was before, that it was just kind of... So GCED is real. And I've shown you, from DEEPCOOL, from MHQJRH, and from upHere, how to take care of GCED so you don't have to take pills anymore. Nobody wants to take these. So in this video, I've shown you 3 different methods, well 4, but 3 methods, preferred methods, on how to take care of GCED so you don't have to deal with your video card sagging, potentially doing so many things. But as always, please do click like and subscribe if you like this video and it's helped you out. It helps me out so much. Also, if you'd like, go ahead and buy me a cup of coffee. That helps as well. This is Iggy with ThisBytesForYou, showing you how to take care of GCED. It affects us all. Iggy out. See you guys.